June 3rd, 2018, Sunday. I got a new microphone. Because I got sick and tired of moving that streaming mic back and forth. And if I were to want to, I do still want to stream. I just need to actually sit down and do it, which I might actually soon. New game coming out. It's going to be awesome. Vampire. Anyway. Got tired of moving the thing back and forth, so I'm like, let me just leave it over there finally. I'll do a new headphone, new earbuds for it. That way I'll have to use the ones I use for my iPod at work and for in general. Yeah. Got this, so we'll see how it sounds. Sounds like garbage, then I'll be sad. Got it at Best Buy for $70. But I'll make it work. So, yesterday was a fun day for me trying to record videos, because either the recording would just freeze and not save at all, or it wouldn't save sound. Had a fun little thing where I tried to record something, record like a 2-second video, even though I would record for like 10 seconds to test it. Did a hard reset. I turned it off, turned it back on, shut the computer down, and boot it back up, and it seemed like it would cooperate after that. Got the Good News Art video out. Which is great. Sorry, I'm messing with the little tripod stand. That's the Blue Snowball microphone. I'm not sure I said what it was. So yeah, yesterday was a fun day of trying to get stuff recorded. I'd record a vlog, but then again, of course, it's a great video to watch and listen to. Anywho. Yesterday, if I'd gotten one up, it would have been just about being just... Well, I've tried to record it several times. Several times I had the problem of I didn't really know what to say. That's because if you know me, and you also kind of... If you were to watch a couple of these vlogs that I do, especially from when I was first starting a journey to better mental health, probably on the older channels where they are, probably upload those here at some point, potentially, just because, or maybe I shouldn't. Anyway, I can see things as an interconnected little web of everything. One thing will affect some other stuff. So, not only is that just how I can live my life, I have seen that. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I was frustrated about a lot of stuff. And that led me to being a frustrated person and led to me getting in trouble at work. Of course, work was also one of those things causing problems, but I digress. I think something that I just said is, and I am going to just stick to it because it's true. So I'm coming with a little red light. I'm pretty about 20 at night, it'd be like, red. One thing I'd said yesterday in those vlogs, I guess I'll say here now, for the world to hear. I'm probably gonna leave my job soon. Ooh, have you applied anywhere? No. Have you submitted your resume anywhere? No. Have you been looking for jobs? Very lightly. What do you mean you're leaving your job soon? Then you don't think you actually are. It's because I feel like I owe it to people that I work with to not leave right now. New person's being trained. New person's gonna join tomorrow. I'm training them. Another person also started 2 weeks ago. And we're about to enter a month of having to test stuff for convention. Hello, July. So I don't feel right just up and leaving these people that I don't despise. Essentially to that fate. I don't feel right doing it. That is... that's acceptable. This is the back of my microphone. I guess I'll leave it like that. Policy get another desk at some point, but I digress on that too. Anyway, there we go. Now it's going to sit proper if I were to do that. Cool. Sorry, I'm messing with this now. Anyway, yeah, right now it's not the time that I'd feel like I'd need to be leaving my job. Because of the people I work with, and now it's not a time that I'd want to leave. I tell the story of Javier Velasquez, arrogant a-hole extraordinaire that I started work with. Well, he started a week after me. He also worked with me at Xynergy, last place I worked out. And for one of the 2 months I was there, the second month I was there, I worked with him. And at the time, I was still very emotionally fragile from college and life and all of that. And I was having to essentially relearn that I'm a programmer, so some things I can solve can actually be solved by programming. That's how much school broke me. God, I really like how this looks. I have this here. I don't know why. This might be one of these things that when I go for how certain things are going to look, I might go for this, possibly. That's awesome. Anyway. Anywho, I'm getting off track. Anywho, yeah, he was an a-hole. Very arrogant, very full of himself. I'm going to fiddle with where this is positioned probably way too much. I'll probably do it after I'm done recording this, probably. But yeah, why he matters to this story is him and me both started April of 2014. December of 2014, pretty much January 2015, because it was like the last 2 or 3 days, he apparently put in his resignation to go work somewhere else. And his last day was December 31st, and December 20th or 30th is when we learned, or at least I was told, hey, yeah, he's leaving. Slight thing. He had been the one that had been so buried in the framework. He's the one that pretty much made it. So we all kind of just scrambled to learn how it worked. Now, by now, I know exactly how it works. Because that was... what would that have been? End of 2014. Well over 3 years ago. Probably 3.5 years ago. Getting close to that now. But yeah, pretty much with 2 days or 1 day warning, he left. Now that's already rude enough as it is. It's already somewhat window. I already would want to put in 2 weeks, which is the standard, which I agree with. It's a good amount of time. But it was probably maybe 2 or so weeks later we were going to be expanding into market country Spain. And that country actually recently lost its market country status because apparently it wasn't moving product like it should have or needed to. Then they said we're having product go to waste and all that, or people are putting orders through one of these sites, not the others, or whatever it was. Pretty much wasn't living up to expectations. Got bumped back down to the emerging market program status, which is fine. Gave us a lot of EMP data. So yeah, pretty much he left us about 2 weeks out from a major country expansion. No. And if I were to leave now, I would be not training somebody that I was supposed to be training, which everybody's kind of relying on that being the plan. Granted, I wouldn't be leaving really soon anyway. I still, even if I were to put in my 2-week notice and be saying that 2 Fridays from now would be my last day, I still have 2 weeks to train them. And I feel like, judging by the other guy who actually knows this person, these two, the person joined 2 weeks ago and the person joining tomorrow, they know each other. And if this guy, Adam, is as smart as Charles, other guy who started, after 2 weeks he'll be pretty much fine. That's just learning business rules. I'm not too concerned about it. But by the time I'd feel comfortable having his training done, let's say in a month, probably even after 2 weeks, at that point you're talking about me leaving 2 weeks before convention testing is supposed to start firing up. Maybe 3 at most, depending upon when it actually starts. Because 4th of July is usually the one that I say, okay, from 4th of July to whenever the convention is done in the second week of August, no time off. Nobody can take time off unless it's like an emergency or something. In my case, it was being in a car wreck. Not gonna be able to take PTO. Trust me. Anyhow, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that, because that would be, in one way, it wouldn't be as bad, because, well, I'm not an a-hole, so it wouldn't be so much of a loss, probably. Of course, it's bad in the other direction, because I am so light, I am so valuable. It would be really devastating. So it would be devastating no matter what I do. And it would also be worse because I'm fully responsible for the most important site. And I'm the last person that knows how the framework works pretty much inside and out for the most part. There's some bits I still probably don't fully understand. I think mobile testing, API testing, and probably one other thing probably that I'm not 100% on. But when it comes to like the UI testing, the bulk of what we have, I know that framework. I'm the one that pretty much guinea pigs the framework. So I know how it works. And it'd be worse because I'd be leaving during convention, and there's so much that goes on during that time. So I guess really there'd be no better to me leaving, Because the only thing better is that I'm not the only one that knows how the framework works really, really well anymore. Somebody else could easily, probably pretty quickly pick it up, and could probably, I don't think anybody could ever 100% replace the fact that I just kind of know how it works. I just know where stuff is. The only real replacement to that would be if I ever documented where every key thing was. That's the big thing I need to do. I think this is a little bit too high in frame. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to mess with this a few times. Bite me for a few minutes now. So if I could ever fully document where stuff is in the framework, I can kind of replace the fact that I just know where it is. There, that should be fixed now. And I guess the slide that'll stay at. So I don't feel like just abandoning them right now. That's what I feel like I would do. Now, if I were to about to start a job here soon, and I'd put my 2-week notice in, and etc., etc. But if I put it in May, or if I were going to go in tomorrow to put it in, and I didn't have somebody to train, it'd be a bit of a different story. But even then, I'd rather, I don't know. I think I'd rather it be that I leave a month before the convention testing is supposed to start. Because at least then they have a month to either find a way to just be another warm body essentially for a bit, maybe, or they can at least be used to juggling stuff around enough to where I'm not there. So pretty much June and January? I guess January, because June and January would be kind of dead zones of where I don't want to do it. I don't know when the other convention is. The other convention's in February, so I guess in December I shouldn't. But December's the end of the year, so. January might be when we do some convention testing, but usually it's not as hardcore, it's not as bad. The convention in August is the massive one. But I guess, like, leaving in December is kind of like, well, it's end of the year, so. But in the middle of January is when we had the Spain expansion a few years back, and I just don't like that. And in fact, there was 2 days before we left, so it's kind of like, bye-bye. The guy's still an a-hole, apparently. Some coworkers a few months back found his LinkedIn profile, and he was coder or software or programmer extraordinaire or some really arrogant thing. And apparently he had said another job for no more than 2 years, and probably another job for no more than 2 years, because the synopsis they got was he hasn't worked anywhere for more than 2 years. Not surprising. May I never cross paths with him ever again. Because now I have 4 years of being confident without him being an a-hole to call him out on his crap. Maybe not quite 4 years, but still I'm getting there. Got 3.5 years maybe of not dealing with his shit and being able to prove that I know what I'm doing. Asshat. Anyway. Yeah, I will potentially leave my job, or at least start looking for another job maybe in August. Even though I could probably argue, well, there's always the, overflow of projects after convention. I can't stay forever. I've worked there for a long time, and it's been spectacular. It's been great. But it's becoming something I don't like at all, because there's almost never a time for me to really program. All I'm doing is fixing data, tweaking timeouts from 5 seconds to 8 seconds or something. I never do that. From 3 to 5, we'll say. And having to administer tickets and having to watch my queue seemingly every 5 minutes. And if I'm ever asked to do ad hoc, which means somebody internally at Shops goes, this doesn't work, then you gotta write, no, what you do is say, thank you for reporting your issue. I read the JIRA ticket and I'm researching. I hate doing customer service. I'll never be in customer service. I have zero patience for people to be stupid. So when we went over the training for the phrase customer service came up, I'm like, I automatically hate this. A lot. So last time I did it, I set around my calendar, checked that stupid frickin' email folder that I have to dump most of Shop.com's emails into, because they send about 5,000 a day, to check for these stupid things, which have no real good thing to filter out. It's just their random subject lines of stuff that's broken. I remember there was one time where I checked it. 3 minutes later, the person who's like responsible for it over at Shops, he's like the main person that does it a lot. It's like, hey, you want to write this up? Sure, go ahead and write it up. 3 minutes after I'd last checked. If something can't wait 3 minutes, I'm not interested to be a part of that. I don't want to do emergency stuff. If you can't give me enough time to do other stuff, not to mention something I don't want to do anyway, then I'm not interested. So, come August, I'll probably be at, well, September probably, I'll be at new job. Now, where this spider web kicks in, it seems obvious. You might make less money. I know. Might have the benefits you used to have. I know, not that it really affects my day-to-day life, but You'll have a new manager. I know. You'll have new coworkers. I know. You'll have a new place to go to. I know. Have to change your schedule. I know. I know all of this. I've thought about it a lot. I've also thought about the context of my manager trying to convince me not to go because of reasons. Because earlier in the year when I was really angry at one point, blurted out. I don't necessarily blurt out a lot. I'd rather just be quiet and not say anything versus accidentally say something. Unless I'm telling a woman that I find really attractive that I wrote a story about us and named one of the characters my middle name about a scenario that I was wanting to do and very much let it slip that I really liked her and wanted to date her. Dana can confirm this story. That's the one time I'm happy I blurted something out. Anyway, when I blurted out, managed to get a new job earlier this year, manager convinced me otherwise. And he's probably several times over went on about stuff. One comment that I just think I could probably let kind of just burrow into me and use as kind of like a, I don't want to say a bit of an FU thing too, almost. Just probably back when he thought the way to do it would be to almost kind of like be like harsh and tough and all that. Was like, oh, you get this job, you want to go to Raleigh and just like make less money and switch up, he's cranking out scripts. He apparently doesn't quite grasp, or doesn't remember, doesn't realize that I wouldn't necessarily just go to do more test automation. I love problem solving. That's why I was happy with this job at first, because it was problem solving. This job's also getting to a point where there's not really a lot of big problems to solve. It's just reuse things I've done 20 times already and add maybe one little method to click this one other button that's suddenly there and reorder the commands in a different way that I had before to test a new thing. I would want to go somewhere where I'm actually writing more code and solving problems and figuring something out. So I wouldn't go to sweatshops out in Raleigh where I'm writing scripts all day. Because that wouldn't interest me. I'd want to go find a developer job. I want to find a job where I'm not testing stuff. Maybe I'll go out to QA one day. I don't know. But anywho, the other thing he goes on about is like, I have great benefits and he works for me really well. I know all of that. And there's a great risk that I would go somewhere that I'm probably more miserable. Although it's going to be hard to be more miserable than being in a place that's just nothing but chaos half the time. With politicking out the wazoo if people don't want to march towards Scrum, Agile, or anything like that. Pretty much the culture of Market America is what makes me upset. And it makes my job miserable. So pretty much I need another culture. And yeah, I'm very liable to run to a manager that I really don't like. So I'm also pretty sure and would make a point to say that I love to just be given a problem and just be allowed to mess with it for a while and be able to come up with a solution. Every once in a while I need somebody to kind of like nudge me in the right direction and to make sure the direction I'm going in is correct. I can't be left alone forever. But I love to this is just true of why I love programming, just to sit there and mess with it for a bit and think about it. Saying, okay, well, if this object holds data A, B, and C, and then I go into this logic to try to figure that out. Okay, well, I know that when these two fields are like this, I can usually do this logic. Then I go over here and do this, but then this is exception. Okay, well, I make this method over here that checks it. I can do that there, and that can make it quicker. But then that's a lot of extra stuff. I love doing that. That's just fun. It's fun to figure out code. It's fun to look at code and then refine it. It's not fun to look at a script that's failed again and then say, well, I guess I need to increase that wait time on the page from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. You know, I failed once out of 100 times the script ran past that particular point. Not because I want it to pass, but more so so that other people looking at it will shut up. And it's very possible I won't find that magical job. It's very possible that I'll never truly be happy at a job. But by God, if I can avoid how frustrated my dad was at his job and avoid how frustrated I keep being at this job, it'll be an improvement. I know no job will be perfect. I'm fully aware of that. Maybe I had the job of just like recording videos all day about wrestling and video games and history and good news and all that. Maybe that'd be different, but whatever. So, yeah. I could put this microphone through a good half hour or so test. Hopefully I don't sound like crap. I'm going to listen to this afterwards. And if you're seeing this clearly, I'm happy enough with how the audio sounds. And if not, then I don't know who I'm talking to then, because nobody's seeing this video. It's weird to get close to the microphone and see like a red light suddenly appear in my face. I'll put like some tape over it. That way I can get close to it. It doesn't matter, plus you can kind of see the reflection of the light in my eyes. Clearly in a better mood. So, yeah, pretty much. Job is stressing me the hell out a lot. But I'm going to get through training this person. And I'm going to get through this next convention. And I probably at some point should tell my manager that I can keep doing this job, but I'm not always happy with it. And the only thing that would make me really happy would be to just purely be programming all day and not have to be at the mercy of when tickets are going to come flying in or when I have to go do that random thing or that thing over there. Again, I can do it, but I'm not married. I don't have kids. I'm not with a crippling disease that I can only take care of because I have good insurance. I can cut out stuff out of my budget. I mean, I already tell you there's a few $100s that's going to helping Chris, which hopefully he should need less anyway. And hopefully he'll get employed soon, I really hope. Or his boyfriend, Alex, or whomever, so he gets more money, hopefully. But I got a few $100s I can cut out of my budget now. And I can always reconsolidate credit card loans and student loans and all that. And this video is running a really long time. I have pretty much given up on the time box is 15 minutes. Given up on that apparently. But yeah. You job potentially in August or September at some point. Just gotta get through everything else first. Thank you for listening to me, and I am hopeful this microphone still sounds really good. Because I'm not going to keep dragging the stream microphone back and forth, because that's just ridiculous. Thank you for listening, and yeah. See you next time.